I think I've got, I don't know how many I've got on at the moment, 40 or 50 maybe. I've also, people will have come and gone, so, but they know we're going, we're doing this at 11, so I've told them that. Okay, so you're live. Okay. Well, I'll interrupt my video because they're only looking at. Right, am I back? Am I live? There we go. I'm back. Right, Navin has gone live. He's going to do a bit of a intro before we start the actual expose in 8 minutes' time. This is a bit like Chile, isn't it? Anyway, I don't do that very well. So we've got to find Navin's channel. Channels. That's not his channel. Why isn't this channel there? Subscriptions. Navin. There we go. Navin. Navin, get that image off your screen. Right, so as I say, Navin is live. Go over there. I'll be restreaming it here. He's already got 24 watching. I've got a. I think he did get the image off his screen. Hey, Navin. I've joined you over here now. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to give him that, do we? That early? And obviously, I can't see the chat at all now, so I apologise to any viewers that I can't see the chat. I won't be able to see the chat in my live stream, and I won't be able to see the chat in Navin's live stream. So if you say something to me, I can't see you. It's too late, Navin. It's too late. If there's anything important, you can tell me. How many have you got in your stream? Hopefully, some people have come over from my stream. Oh, good. Yes, there's some people have joined you. That's good. We're gonna start this at what, in about 5 minutes' time, aren't we, Navin? You want to go now? You want to start now? We mustn't expose anything before 11 though, in case people who I've told we're going live at 11. So we mustn't expose anything, but you can play some preliminary videos of our guy. Pardon? Hang on, Alex. Alex is saying, are you going through on your stream? Because can you check that? Are people here in Navin?
It was a minute ago. I don't know.
All right, okay. You are, so yeah, you are. That's okay.
That's weird.
Go ahead.
Must be a delay lag thing. Okay, so let's start.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. Take two. Let's say hi to everybody first. Hey, everybody in the chat, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Trumpy, you're still getting abused, aren't you? That's usual. Some things never change. So anyway, so what we have a little bit of an impromptu stream that Frog and I are going to simulcast. I think it might be going through his stream too. So if you're having issues with mine, you can check his out. But we had let's start back over. We had a situation that kind of popped up last week with a certain auditor out of Florida, Mr. Hoffman, who got himself arrested, and then the kind of fallout with that was that he had a history, a questionable, very questionable history of possibly, not possibly, he pled guilty to diddling a child.
Hang on.
Now what?
Hang on. He did a nolo contendere.
Yeah.
Just to be pedantic. You know how that means he didn't do it.
That's right. Yeah.
They'll say, "Well, I wasn't guilty. I didn't plead guilty."
But he knew that.
So I'm just being pedantic.
No problem. No problem at all. Yeah. He played no contest, knowing, and I'm sure he was advised that means a guilty conviction. So anyway, he, in order to, I don't know why, but he chose to go on a couple panels, namely Porter Farmer, and then later AFA the next day, and kind of plead his case. And his case is such, he's saying basically, it wasn't me, it was some other guy, right? That's kind of where we are.
The uncle did it.
Yeah.
The uncle did it.
Yeah, the creepy uncle definitely wasn't me. And he
isn't there a Who song, Evil Uncle Ernie or something?
Something like that.
His name was Ernie.
Well, it sounds, it's easy to say, right? Ooh, the creepy uncle.
It's on Tommy, I think. The rock opera.
Yeah, so, and he kept saying something that kind of piqued our interest. He kept saying, I remember it was that little girl. He kept saying little girl, but the document said 12 to 16. But he kept saying, I remember her being littler than that, or younger than that. And so we were like, why would he say that, So a lot of his nonsense didn't make sense about what he said when he walked in on his uncle diddling, the girl's uncle diddling the little girl. And he made some kind of questionable comments. Just kind of like, what do you talk? First thing he did was, during Porter Farmer's interview, he didn't say anything about whacking the guy. He didn't say anything about that. Said he walked in, saw it, and then there was a mad dash to the phone. First one to the phone is innocent and kind of thing. Back then they didn't have cell phones, right? It was 89. And so that was his first story. None of it really made sense. Why would you just, walk in and then just haul ass and go home? I guess he wanted to go call the police but the other guy, the uncle, got to a phone first, and he's saying that's why it looked bad for him. I don't know. That whole thing didn't make sense. And so then he goes on to AFA's channel, Josh. He goes on AFA's channel and kind of, I need to clear that up, Oh, I did whack the guy. When I walked in, I whacked the guy. I whacked him. And then I went outside for 5 minutes and then said, fuck it, I'm going home. And leaving this child alone, assuming that the uncle left too, which is his story, then he left this poor girl alone who had just been molested. So anyway, that's his position. That basically, look, it was some other guy, and when challenged, he said, well, I don't know what to tell you. You guys, it's out there. You guys know how to find it, whatever, and all this stuff. So he pressed the issue. He said, okay, well, yeah, that's kind of where we are.
Yeah. And of course, if he hadn't pressed the issue, if he'd have just gone and laid under his stone, we'd have left it alone, wouldn't we? That would be it.
Probably so. I mean,
auditor outed as a child sex offender deserves no position in the auditing community. Full stop. Go and lay under his stone. But he didn't. He pressed it. So we had to go and do something.
That's right. And Yeah, again, like you said, and it's kind of strange because they got people out there saying that they already had this information. Oh, they got this information that you guys are getting ready to see in the later on in this show on this segment here. They say they already had it, and that this isn't about who gets it first or whatever. It's about getting the information out. This guy lied. There's no need to trap him anymore. We already have him on record saying two different versions of a story. Well, two versions of the same story that are a little bit different, and that he's completely innocent. The other guy did it. I just did it so the poor girl didn't go through some medical examination, like he's some kind of angel, you know. He didn't want to put the girl through, you know, all that stuff. That was his reason for just taking the Nolo. Well, I'll take the rap for it, you know. And so some people were out there. We've been told by Porter Farmer that that they already got these documents to get ready to see, and that he's just going to sit on it, you know. And
but why would you sit on it?
Well, I guess
the people should know, and the people should make their judgments on why people sit on this stuff.
Absolutely.
That's you know, I know what we're going. I know what we're going to look at. You know, is a little graphic, uncomfortable, but you know, people need to know, because people need to know that auditors do not do due diligence on one another.
And if it's true, see, I suspect that they don't even have, the Porter Farmer doesn't have shit. He's just saying shit. But you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have it, there is no game to be played at this point, because the guy doesn't
need
to be trapped. He already have his story. He's not, you know, it's going to be what it is. He's going to have a third story? No, we already have his story. And so
we better go, Navin, anyway. We better get going, haven't we?
What's that?
We better get going with some stuff.
We are. This is stuff. So should we start off with some videos of his story, to kind of get people who aren't familiar with what he has said? We should probably do that first, I would think.
Agreed. Yeah, okay. No, that makes sense.
Let's do that. So let's go to, this was on Porter Farmer's channel. Now, for those you don't know, this is the guy. This is Catch. This is his name right there, Catch. And that is him. This video is going to start off kind of spliced up, and that's my fault. You know, it was, like I said, we put this together today, but it'll give us a good idea of his initial story. This is like, I mean, soon as this is the day that his name came out, I think he just got out of jail, and yeah,
he's in the car on his way home, isn't he?
Yeah, and some
with his supporters, and let's remember these supporters: Dr. Sean Berry and XXGOX.
Yeah,
who don't mind being with a sex offender, a child sex offender. That's all right.
And you know, at this point they knew. At this point they knew, because his name, it didn't take long. He was still in jail when the information first came out about his charges. And people were also saying, hey, you know, why didn't you wait and give the guy a chance before he put his name out there? You know what? To that I say, fuck that shit. I mean, the guy pled NOLO. If you don't want to have your name put out there, first of all, don't do that fucking shit. How about that? All right. Number two, don't plead guilty to it if you didn't do it. You know, I mean, why is it our fault?
You know, I went on PDF's channel, didn't I? I went on this live stream of PDF's, and I was being castigated for putting it out by someone called Futoy and someone else called Ms. Bees or someone. I mean, two people that I'll just mute in future because there's no point in listening to them. But castigated for putting out the story, not the story, the documentation that we had at that time. That's what I put out.
The charges and the NOLO and all the stuff. And she seems to think this is some kind of 60 minutes investigation where you gotta. I should have spoken to him. I should have got his side. I should have got his side of the story. Well, that's the problem. It's not going to be his side of the story. It's going to be his story, because all the sex offenders have a story. That's right. I mean, I got news for at this point. The investigation's over. It's time to put the information out there. I mean, there's no
roll the video. Roll the video.
Here we go. Take one.
Me, I ain't got nothing to hide.
Well,
I'm not ashamed of myself, my actions, or my attitude. I don't have
Well,
anything to apologize for.
they're
Unbelievable.
saying about your charges. That's what they're talking
Let's
about.
talk about that. Let's talk about it. Back
All
in
right.
'89, when I just got out of the service, my friend from high school had been living with a woman that he kind of liked, and I would visit them. On the third visit that I came over there to visit with them, I caught the girl's uncle, a small girl. I caught his uncle molesting her and interrupted them. And he got to a phone.
I don't know about you, Frog. Doesn't that bother you? Interrupted them, not him. Or I mean, interrupted.
Yeah,
It's just a weird word
yeah.
to choose. Or how about busted him, busted his ass, or whatever. Or what's this
I
interrupted
am
them?
at a bit of a disadvantage, Novin, because you didn't pipe me any sound. But I thought I wouldn't interrupt that first bit of
Oh.
video. But
You're not getting sound.
if you can try and pipe me, otherwise I'll try and watch behind on YouTube. So you'll have to talk about that first clip because I didn't hear it.
Okay, that's fine. You have to watch it on YouTube so I can pipe. I thought we could. I thought we tested this out. Should have tested that. I'm sorry about that. All right, we're gonna continue when I'll let you know when it's done.
Before I got to a phone, and I kept telling the police that this is the person that you need to come look at. So as time goes on, I got my arrest was like I walked in, fingerprinted, I walked out. That's how bad it was, because they didn't really think that I was the one perpetrating it anyway, but they weren't investigating
I piped you over some sound there, bro.
the uncle. We went through court the whole time. I had to have a public defender because I didn't have any money. I'm not rich. I don't make anything off of YouTube. I don't have an income other than disability from Social Security. But anyway, when we went to court, I tried to spare the victim from doing all those things that a victim has to do, like going to a hospital and all the degradation that they would have sent that poor child through. And
now we talked about that, and we're not gonna drag this on too much. But those two things, right? The degradation that child would have went through. I think you mean the trial, and then, I mean, the medical part that would have been done like day 1, 2, or 3. I mean, right then that would have been done. It isn't like, well, let's wait to see if he pleads. Let's wait to see if he pleads guilty or not guilty. And they're going to do more medical tests on her. After it's I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe I'm just naive to the fact of what happens, but I don't think they put her through more medical tests, do they? No.
And I suspect, Navin, when we come to the document, but I suspect that probably there were no medical examinations.
Yeah.
Because this story about the uncle and something happened immediately just seems that's nothing of the like in there, and it's like a little while after the event, so there wouldn't have been any forensic evidence available. So I doubt that the child had any medical examinations. But hey ho.
Yep, I think the audience is going to come to this exact same conclusion, but we'll see.
I pleaded nolo contendere in court. Didn't know then about the law what I know now.
Bullshit. That lawyer, that lawyer, and the judge told you too. No, they didn't just say plead nolo. Oh, you'll find out, at the day of that hearing that you're going to be. And he knew. The lawyer told him nolo means, look, you're done. You're going to find guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, and for all the young'uns in the room, I mean, I know 19.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say, for all the young'uns in the room, for those who think 1989 is a long time ago and, the legal system was back in the dark ages, well, no, it wasn't. We're not like going back to 1850 or something.
Right.
Now, I would have fought it tooth and nail all the way to the end.
Bullshit.
I didn't really think it was a big deal because,
He didn't think it. Now, remember that key phrase there. I didn't think it was a big deal. That's going to be a recurring theme.
I didn't do anything, and I knew I hadn't done anything, so I wasn't worried about it. During the trial, at the end of it, I was under the impression that they were going to find it not guilty. And
I mean,
Who was
sorry,
they?
hang
Who
on,
was they?
hang on. He's had it explained to him what nolo contendere means. So how can he be then saying, at the trial, I thought I'd be found not guilty? I mean, there was no trial of the fact. He was
Right.
found guilty because he pled nolo contendere.
Yeah. He expects us to believe first that he thought that nolo meant plead no contest and then have a jury trial, but he also expects us to believe that he didn't have that explained to him by either his attorney. Well, I don't care if it's a public pretender, like he says, but the judge would have told him the exact same thing beforehand. Now, this was going to happen. There's not going to be a trial. You know, you're going to be. I mean, this isn't that complicated. But he thought he thought no big deal. I'll plead nolo and go to trial, and they will find me not guilty. Whoever they is, I guess he's talking about a jury.
Anyway, it went through.
There was no trial.
Well, trial means, you stand in front of the judge and you tell them what's going on.
That's not a trial.
And they make a decision. It wasn't even a jury by peer or anything like that. She said that she erred on the side of caution when I talked to her later. But anyway, they ended up investigating the uncle for what was going on with that poor child. And they were fixing to go and arrest him. And this was about a year and a half to close to 2 years after I had gone to trial, because I wouldn't shut up about me being innocent, that me not diddling that poor little child. And when they went to go find him or get him, he ended up getting killed. He wrecked his car up and it killed him.
Okay, let's back up. Let's wrap that up a little bit. So he was jumping up and down, yelling. He wouldn't shut up. I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Pounding his hands on the desk and all that stuff. I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Yep, that's all that would come out of his mouth. I'm not guilty. And okay.
So they didn't have anybody else to arrest, and they never went back and vacated the charges.
Okay, so they had nobody else to arrest. The guy completely is dead now, and they had nobody else to arrest, but they wouldn't, as he said, vacate the charges. I guess, remove the charges, whatever.
And I've never.
Well, I was going to say, there's no evidence on the court file of any filings in connection with him trying to get the charges vacated.
No, there's other motions, right, or other pleadings, right? But no.
Oh yeah, he's not been throwing right into the court.
Right.
Of money to have a lawyer go back and vacate those charges.
There's the mouse defense, or what's the other defense? I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money.
I'm sorry. I've heard the excuses before from
I'm
other
sorry, is that
monsters.
the frog talking or somebody
you're
that I've
just
heard
the
of
same
before?
as all the others.
All right. Well, hold up, Frog. Hold up, Frog. So you actually pled out in court then, is what you're saying. You didn't go to trial. You went ahead and pled.
Yeah, I was trying to save the victim because, see, I didn't understand back then what kind of a big deal we're talking about.
27-year-old man.
There it is again. I didn't understand what a big deal wasn't a big deal.
Of course
Yeah.
you did.
Back
No one
30
admits
years
no
ago,
one
Chester,
admits
child
a
molester.
sexual charge against
Is
a
she gonna
child.
let me
I'm
talk or
sorry.
not?
Hold up,
However
Frog.
thick you are,
Frog, I tried to tell you, I wasn't going to have you talking. I'm going to let him tell his story. That's what we got to do here. But go ahead, man.
If you didn't catch that, Porter Farmers just kicked Frog off the panel.
Because I was questioning.
Right. But now Porter Farmer said, "Oh, I'm just trying to trap the guy. I'm a fucking whatever."
So you pled out to stop her from having to go through charges. See,
Right.
but that's what I'm saying. You was how old? You've been in the service? You just got out of the service?
Yeah, I just got out of the service.
Yeah.
I had a 6-year-old daughter myself. She died that year from congenital heart defect.
Damn, I'm sorry.
I've got 5 other children that are living. One of them's was adopted. There's never been any of that crap going on in my family. I'm gonna tell you that right
Did you
now.
do any jail time
Yes.
when you pled out?
No,
No jail time.
I got
With no jail time.
probation.
He got probation. Wait, who has the lie counter? I don't have my lie counter's broken. I think we're at number.
Mine doesn't go high enough.
Okay. Yeah, right. That's what broke mine. Same thing.
And that was before there was a sexual offenders list. The way I understand it, this was 89. Sexual offender list didn't come out to what, 93 maybe or something like that. 91.
I really don't know because I don't think along them lines. I'm sure that you know that people of that mindset all the time reoffend. They always find another victim.
You know, Rogue Nation, James Madison came out and said they told everybody not to have nothing to do with you. I think last night on the film.
That's their right.
Yeah, no, I
They
just
have
asked you,
the
did
right
you know
to-
that? I've asked you, did you know this? I'm asking you
No, I didn't know it, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. I know in my heart where I stand, and nobody's
And that-
judgment or opinion is going to change that. I don't care what people think. I am not the least little bit worried about what others think about something I may or may not have done.
Right.
I
Well,
know
public
didn't-
opinion,
I know
I
didn't
mean,
do it.
Why would you
Hang
say
on.
may or may not? Yeah.
Yeah, may or may not have done. Those were really strange words.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
also, his lack of, feeling any guilt towards the community that he was a part of and he's brought into disrepute. He feels no shame for, this coming out. He doesn't care.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot of times, Frog. They'll kind of draw the line. Say, look, I don't care. You can think what you want to think, and it doesn't bother me one way or the other, all that stuff. But we've seen that many, many times, and you're right. There's I think he may have said something about, or maybe no, somebody said that on his behalf that he damaged the audio community, one more blemish and things like that. I don't think it came out of his mouth though.
I ain't worried about it.
public opinion is pretty major, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
I'm saying, well, you are if you got a public channel. Public opinion matters for YouTube. I mean, you're going to have public.
Yeah, I guess you got a valid point there.
That's why I was thinking public opinion matters. So you would
I know that
probably
there
should
are
say you
people-
do care. I mean, I would think you would say, well, I do care, but
Okay, I care. I mean, not to a great degree, but my whole thing was just showing the injustices that are going on in our country, because some of them are just flat out outrageous. The
Diversion.
cop shop down there is just totally out there. They're totally off the wall, and they need to be brought in. They need to be reined in. But back to the real problem here. We're talking about me, not them. I know there are going to be people that will support me, that believe what I say, and there will be people that do not believe what I say. And
Yeah.
Dr.
I'm not
Sean
going to try to
Berry.
change their
and-
opinion. I'll just tell you the facts of the matter is I didn't do it. I know I
Yeah.
didn't.
Uh-huh.
And in my mind and heart, I feel clean about it. I don't have that I don't have that guilt of ruining
you
some
ever-
poor
Do
child's
you
life.
know? You probably didn't keep track of the person. Hopefully, I mean, unless they're a close family friend or whatever. But you wouldn't
No, I
have
didn't
known
really
what
keep
happened
track of them.
to
I
this
only
person.
heard about it.
No, I was just wondering about the person's life, what it turned out like, what happened to that little girl in her future
She-
life. I mean, it's been a long time ago, and did she end up with major depressions and things like that?
Well, that's a sad story all by itself right there, because I heard probably 12 years ago, maybe or so, that she was in some sort of an accident and died. Both of her and of the uncle that was diddling her, both of them is dead.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's
I think
convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, that's yeah, I would go and say it. Bullshit. I don't believe it, but anyway, that's me. I think it's kind of
Yeah, me, and of course, you know, we don't know if she's dead or alive, and we'll never know that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we'll find the document.
Yeah,
We'll find the documents. We won't go looking for any victim.
Yeah, we don't care about the victim anyway. But it's just,
No.
I think that's his. I think this guy's just making up bullshit on the fly, and you know, I guess what is he?
Well, you
thinking
say on the
maybe-
fly. I think he's had this excuse for. He's had this story or different versions, and probably the uncle is probably always there, but this story has probably gone throughout, probably since the days he did it.
Yeah, who knows? Well, I'm talking about the death of the uncle. Oh, he's dead. Yeah. Don't worry about trying to find. Don't worry about trying to find that guy. He's dead. You know, even.
Mother passed with the daughter in a wreck.
What state was this? They're non-driving people, aren't they?
Yeah, apparently so. But
Wow, great comment.
the guy used to build boats or something like that. Did fiberglass work on
So-
boats or something. I didn't know him very well, and I didn't know the mom or the daughter very well at all. But the friend that I went to high school with, you know, that's mainly who I went over to visit. You know, we'd go shoot.
Hey, what's this technique called, Frog? When it's like a situation when somebody lies, they actually offer too much detail about something to try to really.
Yeah. I mean, he's gone into things, and he's gone into his family, which were totally irrelevant to the offence, and now he's going on to his friend. And PDF actually, that was, I don't think PDF hardly did any good in terms of drawing out, apart from drawing out a story from him. We didn't actually question the story, but there was just that one point where he interjected on, well, they were non-driving people, weren't they? And he, Catch You Later, was sort of caught there. Yeah. Well, they drove boats, so I was going to say, I assume it was a boat wreck then.
Well, I mean, I think he meant to say like they're just not good drivers. It's kind of, but what do people? You know,
I don't know.
I guess I don't know, but it's just he offered the whole thing about the whole. He worked at a boat deal and did manufacturing. I think they were fiberglass boats. I think they were. It's just detail that doesn't matter. When somebody goes into that, they do that to try to lend credibility to their story, to offer a whole lot of detail, which is just junk. It's rubbish. Doesn't need to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Hunting and fishing and stuff like that.
Like that.
But I never spent much time at that house where the poor child lived at.
Yeah.
And where the uncle lived on the property adjacent to where he worked on his boats and that kind of thing. And you know, when I walked in on him doing this, there's a major amount of disgust that it's damn shocking. You just don't understand. And it takes a minute for your mind to come around to what you need to do. And at about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes after I walked out of the house, I jumped in my car. They didn't have cell phones back then. And I went to the local store and I called the cops about it.
So he immediately jumped. Immediately jumped in the car and went to a local store and called the cops. All right.
No, he didn't. No, he waited 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, that's late. That's the next story. That not this story.
No, he just said it.
Oh, he did. He waited 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, he just said 5 or 6 minutes.
What was he waiting for?
What was he doing?
And at about, I don't know, 5-6
Yeah,
minutes after
Okay.
I walked out of the house, I jumped in my car. They didn't have cell phones back then.
Okay. Yeah. 5 or 6 minutes. What was he doing for 5 or 6 minutes?
And I went to the local store and I called the cops about this. And that, I don't usually call the cops about anything, but they went down and talked to him, and he said that I was the one that was violating this poor child, and the child didn't know better. I mean, she didn't know that she was being abused.
How does he know that?
By this guy. And
Oh, so you're saying she was a willing participant?
I can't speak to that. I don't know what her mindset was, but I know that she was a small child. Very.
What's that?
I was going to say, I mean, when we come to the documents, some of these statements just incredible.
Yeah. First, she said, "I don't think she knew."
You know,
she was being
when
abused.
he was asked the question, willing participant. I mean, well,
No.
we'll see when we come to the statements, but I'm going to try and remember that word, willing participant.
Right.
Right,
Well, he
go
just
on.
said, he just said, "I don't think that she knew what was going on." Then he just
Yeah,
said he didn't know her state of mind. It's just very strange. And the little girl, oh, just crazy.
Small. A small child, very small. And she didn't understand, I guess is the right way to say it, what this guy was
Well,
doing.
the
But
charge,
That's crazy.
Well,
the document says 12 to 16-year-old. So the girl was, do you
That's a
know how
small
old she
child.
was?
That's a small child.
Do you know how old she actually was? The actual
No.
age?
I do not know.
Yeah.
I don't know. She
Because
was just
there's not a whole lot of documentation available from 1989. Now, I can go to the courthouse, I can get into the archives and the records and get every single piece. I don't
Yeah.
know if I want to go that far. I really don't know if I care that much, to be honest, because, like I said,
Hold on. Why would you not care, Porter Farmer? I mean,
exactly.
you dig up, you get up in the morning, you dig up stories about cop somewhere in, Flagstaff, Arizona, gets charged with diddling a child. You certainly care then, but you're on a little Floridian auditor, buddy. You don't know if you care. I think you did want to know, Porter Farmer. I think you did want to know.
if you're going to come out and tell the story, you tell it the way you are. Everybody else is going to believe what they want to believe. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're all going to cuss me. They're going to cuss you. They're going to cuss each other. It's the way it works out here on YouTube. I don't know what to tell you, dude. As far as having a YouTube following, people don't stand too well with someone who ends up pleading guilty to a charge like that. You know what I mean? That's a very
Right.
serious freaking charge. And as far as having a community, I think you would do better if you had a YouTube webpage talking about that actual type of charge and case and how many people are charged and done this, because I'm sure it happens all the time. There's people in jail that shouldn't be there for sexual charges.
Well, that's a great idea, Porter Farmer. Jesus. Yeah.
But you don't see a webpage out there, never, from none of you guys that have charges ever.
He wants him to start a page about people who've been convicted, who pled NOLO to shit they didn't do. Is that what he wants? I don't understand that. What does he want him to do?
Make a web page discussing that charge. It seems to me like you tried to hide it. You didn't want nobody to know. Did you
That's
really
true.
think this was never going to come out? I mean,
Certainly
you ever-
not.
huh?
Certainly not. With the electronic age that it is today,
Okay. Yeah. He didn't think back then that it was going to come out today. He thinks that now. Yeah, well, yeah. It's a little bit different, though. You can't do that. Hindsight. Well, this is, we're going to skip to the next segment, because that's kind of like his little brief history there, his story of what occurred. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. I mean, we could play the whole thing, but, if you want the whole thing, it's on Porter Farmer's channel, so it's his interview. If you think I'm being,
Yeah. I
sneaky
don't think
or something.
I don't think we need to play the whole thing, do we?
Yeah. So let's jump to the next segment. I think it talks about the charges.
but I've tried a couple of times to try to get the charges picked up, lifted, removed, or things like that. But it takes a lawyer, it takes a lot of money, and it takes knowledge on how to go about doing that. And I'm not there yet. When I
No,
If I
no
can
evidence,
ever-
no evidence at all of that.
Yeah, I think he's trying to explain away the reason it's still out there, that the charge is there. I just didn't
Yeah.
have the. I was so innocent that all I do is if I had the money to get a lawyer, I was so incredibly innocent that the lawyer would have wrote a letter and got it expunged. But it was a money thing. That's all. Just needed some money.
learn enough about court procedures and this kind
Oh, and I didn't know enough. That's right. Forgot.
of thing, then I'll make an attempt at it myself.
Okay. I didn't catch it the first time. It's like it just dawned on him. Look at his face. Oh, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. All right. Good idea, PDF. I'll get it expunged.
to have it removed. But up until that point, it's a stigma that you live with. So the YouTube community, whether they believe my side of it or not, make your own decisions, people. Do not let somebody sway you into thinking some way that you're not comfortable with. If you want to hate me, hey, I got big shoulders. Hate away. If you want to, if you would like to make me the object of your discussion, that's fine too. I don't mind.
All right.
But myself, the person that I have to deal with every day, I'm clear over it. I'm clean over it. I don't have the nagging guilt of being some sexual predator or any kind of crap like that. What
Do you see any similarity with Earl?
What's that?
Any similarity with Earl? Just know
I'm a different
doesn't
person.
care about what he's done to someone's life,
Right. It's all about today. I don't look back at my past and make judgments on what I've done. I'm not that I'm a new person.
Have you paused him smiling there? Is he smiling at himself there?
Yeah, that's weird. This is not a smiling matter. I don't know if that's just something you catch when you just pause it, like yeah, it wasn't there very long. But he does think he's doing well. There's no doubt about that.
I got to hand it. One thing more I need to say. We need to get home, but Sean and Gio stayed throughout the ordeal, and others in the community did make the effort to help out, and I really want to thank them for that. No matter what you think of me, right?
Okay, I think he's talking about the arrest now. Let's jump forward to the next segment.
I mean, while you're fast forwarding, he did have a fairly hefty bond, so some few dollars were donated and paid on his behalf.
Yeah, how much was raised? Do you know? I don't know. I didn't.
Oh no! Of course we don't know. Of course we don't know. You expect them to set up a pool or something so people can see how much is raised. No, it went straight into Chuck Bronson's PayPal account.
What the fuck was I thinking? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Next. All right.
I'll take care of me. And like I said,
I don't know what's gonna happen here. Let's see what it says.
just be you. Be honest. That's all we can be as a group.
That's right.
Be yourself. Be honest. They like you, don't.
Better to be honest and tell the same story than to be dishonest and not tell the same story.
It's not telling the same story, being honest, is it? Being honest is being honest. Telling a story is telling a story. If you're lying, you need to make sure that you tell the same story. I think he sort of cocked up a bit there with the metaphor. If it's a metaphor, I'm not sure it's late here.
Look at his face, and he just said something so profound. He's like, "Yep, that was good.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good."
Cause they're gonna catch you in a lie out here. You lie, motherfucker gonna get you.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I agree with that.
Hang on, Port Farmer. How long's he been in your community? And how long did it take you to out him? Well, you didn't out him, did you? We outed him. And how long did it take us to out him? Less than 24 hours.
Yep. And of course,
Makes me sick.
He's going to claim to this morning that he has all this new information. The very information that Catch told people, him, not just you, but other people. It's out there. Go. If you don't believe me, go look for yourself. So
Yeah.
Porter Farmer's claiming that he has it, but has anybody heard anything from PDF about it? No. He thinks it's a game. He thinks if you do it now, you'd be like doing it for clout, for video, for clicks and views and stuff. And he wants to play this little catch game. Like, I'm gonna set him up. They even don't know what he's doing. We gotta get him on a panel. Well, he can come on our panel. So fuck that. That's out. You know, that's for damn sure. You know, so he wants to. Oh, I'm gonna play the little catch a game, get on a panel with the new information, and then well, it's too late for that. It's right now people need to know. The investigation's over, and it's time to just let people see the information. Right now, we're still in the background, though. There's still background.
To remember the lie. If you tell the truth, you don't have to worry about that lie. Right. You tell the truth, you don't have to worry about lies.
Well, you
true.
got a bunch of people hating you and a bunch of people probably questioning. So I'm glad you.
You got two groups of people. You got people hating you, and you got people questioning. There is no third group. What about the people that they believe you? There's no, that group doesn't exist.
Come out and told your story, man. I appreciate you for doing that.
All right.
All we
I
can
think-
ask. All we can
Is
ask.
it AFA stream now, Nathan?
Yeah, let's do that. What do you, I say, yeah. Do you want to take a? Let's see. Let's see if
Well, I
can-
don't know. I mean, we could. It's up to you whether we do the documents or we go AFA stream and do the documents.
I think we should do FAs while it's fresh in mind, while it's fresh in everybody's mind, right?
Okay.
So let's just drag that on in there.
The following trolling was conducted either by professionals or under the super.
Oh my God, where did that go? Boy, that loaded up quick, huh? Let me go to my notes. These aren't my notes; these are somebody else's notes. Probably no mystery who that is. Let's go to, what do you think? 11-second mark. Let's go right by there. I have no idea what it's going to be, but let's just take a listen. Hard to work this little mouse. Oh, look at this. Play.
10/31/1989.
Okay, this is going to be a segment 3 is going to be about 9 minutes long. Well, actually about 11 minutes long. So I'm going to let
We
it
should
rip.
probably just let it play, really, as much as possible.
Yeah, so it's 11 minutes. No, that's what I'm saying for programming notes. You guys we're gonna mute up and let it play for 11 minutes, and then we'll jump to the next segment. Make a pot of coffee. This is gonna be a long stream, but we're gonna get to the good stuff. Well, damn it, that's a bad choice of words. We're gonna get to the real stuff.
Yeah.
After this AFA interview.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Hey, Catch, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. We got
Perfect.
pretty shitty internet out here.
So why don't you start off by telling me what happened that day? What happens?
All right. I was building a remote controlled airboat. I went over to see a friend of mine that I've known since school. Walked right on in the door as usual. Saw a young lady and a gentleman. I wouldn't say gentleman, standing behind her. His hands were in an inappropriate spot. And I immediately walked over and he moved away from her and I smacked him and realized what was going on, left and was going towards a phone to call the cops on him. They don't have cell phones back then, so you have to go find one somewhere. The local gas station was the one. I went and called, but he had already called first.
Well, let me go back for a second, just so I understand a little bit. Where was this guy? Like, where was this? This was at a friend's house. This was at a work. Where was this guy with this girl?
Okay, it's a friend of mine's house, and the dude was the kid's uncle, and he lived on the property and repaired boats, regular sized boats. And I was just going to get him the fiberglass, the little boat that I was making. And I really wasn't expecting all that to be going on. I was expecting to go in and talk to my friend, but he wasn't.
Okay, so
even
you go in to talk to your friend, and when you walk in the room, you see him there with a girl who was between the ages of 13 and 16, and he was engaged in, fair to say, illicit.
Well,
In
I don't.
no young child should be involved in.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot, but yeah.
You know, let me just call you. Why don't I do this to make it easier for you and everyone else? I'm just gonna call you on the phone right now. I think that'll be way easier.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll try that because he's getting, it's a little crackly on his end. So I'm just gonna call him and we'll figure this out.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear him. Go ahead. Why don't you speak so everyone can get a test run?
Okay. Anyway, I went over to my friend's house. I walked in the door on a scene that kind of shocked me a little bit. It took a moment in my mind to wake up to see what's going on. I did a lot of yelling and screaming, and I'm pretty sure I hit him. And told him I was going to call the cops and left. And I drove to the gas station close by and got on the phone, called up the cops. I don't know what happened. They went over there. I didn't go back over there.
So wait, hold on. Because I'm trying to understand this. So I know you had called the cops. You left, you go to the gas station, you call the police. When you walk in the room, you see this happening, and like, so you go for the phone, right? And then he beats you to it and then calls them. How does that whole play out?
No, that's not the way it happened. What happened is, when you walk in on somebody and you just surprise the crap out of them, and they've got that open mouth catching flies look on their face, and things were not where they were supposed to be. I don't really want to get into details because it's disgusting. But he was standing behind her, leaning over her, and her dress was higher than it should be, is what I'm getting at. And I don't believe he was putting it on her because of the shocked look on his face. And I told him, back away from her. Probably gave him more of a shove than ass beating. I don't know about where he went to for the phone, but I know that there wasn't one within sight. I left the house and I drove to the gas station, which was like 5 or 6 blocks away or something like that. I called up. Apparently he went back to his house and called up. And he must have got a hold of him before I did. And he put it out there that I was diddling this poor girl. And I put it out there that he was doing it. And the family showed up, I guess, at his place, for all I know, because he was, I was told later by my friend that, there was a problem. And because I went from there, since he wasn't at his girlfriend's house, I went over where I thought he was going to be at his house. And I thought, that he was living there. But I don't know. He wasn't there. So, I went over where his mom's house was at. And
Okay.
But anyway, I called before I got too far. I went right to the store. I called him up. Apparently he called him up also, and they showed up over at his house from what I surmised, because I did not go back.
So let me ask you a quick question. You see this all happening, you whack the guy, and then you take off to get to a phone. Is that what happened? So you could call the police?
Yeah.
So now this is just coming to mind now. I'm reading it in the chat as I go. So for all intents and purposes, you walk into a room, you see a child being assaulted by this piece of shit chomo, and you left her there with him. You didn't think to take the child with you to remove her from the situation?
Hell no. No, absolutely not, because I didn't want to get caught up with the police on that, because that's not something that even entered my mind, to tell you the truth, because when I left out the house, he left out the back door.
Okay.
So I know he wasn't still in there.
So you take off. Now is a race against the clock, where who can blame who for the sexual offenses first is what happens now. So you're telling the police that he did it. He's telling the police that you did it. Let me tell you something. What I just can't wrap my mind around is, if you see this situation and you walk into this room and you're seeing this happening, you had the sense of mind and the fortitude to attack this guy because you knew that this child was in danger. The fact that you didn't, your first thought was not to remove the child from this danger. I don't know what's going through your mind at that point, but you are ultimately charged. Now, was this other guy was not charged, correct?
No, he was not charged, no. And the reason was the cops came out to where I lived at, and I talked with them for a little while and told them what I saw, what was going on, what was happening. And I think they'd already interviewed the family that he lived with, because see, this is the uncle, and he lived with them. And apparently the girl never made an outcry or anything like that to expose his actions, because it's obviously wasn't the first time he had done something like that, I'm sure.
I mean, shame on her for not making a big scene of it.
The child, man, they don't always make the right decisions. Adults don't even always make the correct decisions.
Fair to say. So did this other guy get charged? Never charged. So,
No.
and then a couple weeks after this incident, he wound up dying in an automobile accident,
No.
right?
Incorrect. I went through the whole thing, man. I went, they told me to come down to the police station. They didn't come after me. They told me to come there. I went in, fingerprinted, and walked back out. That was it. That was my arrest. That was the end of that. And then I get a call later for a court date. And I'm under the impression that it's not really that big of a deal. You know, I'm maybe a witness or something like that, or I don't know what my mind was thinking. This is a long time ago. But anyway, when you're supposed to be in court, you show up for court. And I showed up for court and got met with a public pretender right there on the spot. And she told me what was going on. And I was floored. I was the one that was getting charged with it. I mean, you got suspicions that you're getting charged with that when you go get fingerprinted. You know, they told me come to the jail at what was it, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, or I don't even know what time it was. I remember it was kind of a little bit dark, and they said just come down here and we're gonna fingerprint you and then you can go. And I went down there and
Okay, I think we got. Hey, Frog, are you here? We got to stop for a second and talk about this. Are you here, Frog?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so he goes down. This guy gets fingerprinted. Told him he's being charged. I wonder if they Mirandized him. Don't they use it? And all this time he's thinking, "Oh, that's not a big deal. They're just gonna come down here and ask me some questions." But they fingerprint him. Told him he's being charged. And he's like, "Oh." He seems like, what's the word to minimize that? He's minimizing the whole situation. Things aren't adding up. They're not making sense. They're not making sense.
Not at all. Not at all when you're considering the charge that is alleged.
Now, keep in mind, he's 27 years old. This is not a 17-year-old, you know, still in high school, you know, or even 18 as an adult. I mean, I'll give someone some latitude about not being experienced in the law, but even if you accuse an 18 or 17-year-old of a crime like this, and then they fingerprint you, and then tell you and then lay it out there what you're being charged of, you still don't go, not that complacent, that like nonchalant. Oh, yeah, I'm on. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it is totally weird. You know,
like a parking ticket.
I think he's added a few extra bits to his story, hasn't he? I know he said about keeping the story, you know, the same, but it's not quite the same story, is it? As we've gone through the odd little fact here and there. Well, I say fact.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Don't mean fact.
He's added some things to it. I think from his
Yeah.
previous interview with Portrait Farmer, he saw the backlash from a lot of people were saying the same things, like, "How did you just walk in and do nothing?" And now all of a sudden he whacked the guy. You know, all of a sudden, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's kind of.
I'll embellish it a bit. You know, I'll embellish this story a bit. And, yeah.
Right. Massage it, modify it.
I fingerprinted and I left.
Again, back that up. Can't miss that part. That just blows my mind. You get fingerprinted and charged with crime. You're like, "Oh, no big deal. Hey."
Down here and we're going to fingerprint you and then you can go.
That's just crazy. We're going to fingerprint you and you can go. How many people just come on down, get some fingerprints, and we'll let you go? It sounds like an arrest to me.
And I went down there and I fingerprinted and I left.
Okay, so let's stop there.
Even Josh is not buying this shit. He's Like,
Let's stop there because I want to break down each part of the story. So, this incident happens. You see this horrific incident, and you just didn't have the sense of mind to rescue this girl from her attack. You went to a phone. This guy also went to a phone. You both told the police that each other had committed this crime. So then you speak to your. Then you speak. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
He didn't hang around after I walked in. He did not stay there. So it wasn't like I needed to abduct the kid to take her away from all that. I think they were the only two there. I didn't search the place to find out, but when I was screaming for my buddy, he didn't answer.
All right, so let's move on past that part for a second. You get the charges leveled against you. Even in 1990, there is discovery. So you sit down with your attorney, whether he's privately retained or court appointed, and he goes over the facts of the case with you. Now, what did the girl say? It never happened. The lawyer never discussed your case with you.
No, never happened.
Okay, so you're I mean, I understand you weren't an activist then. It is the 90s.
and once again, it was the 1990s, not the 1890s. What the fuck? Yeah, you see Josh's face. He's like, "What the fuck?" No, me and the lawyer never talked. Fuck. Oh shit, wrong. All right. In the interest of time here, we're gonna speed this up a little bit. I think Josh is gonna go on and ask the appropriate questions here, but we're gonna skip forward to the 1 hour mark. Wow, 1 hour from here. Okay, but like I said, we can't play the whole thing. Josh.
Yeah, we can't play.
Josh will strike the shit out of me. Just kidding. Let's see if he does. He does. Okay, so let's go to another interesting timestamp. Let's see what's in here. Let's open this box up. Right about there. Let's see what Josh has to say here. Get him, Josh.
To preserve evidence with normally from immediately up to 5 to 6 hours after the incident, should there be any test. But when you walked in, you said that, there was just kind of hands moving around. So there wouldn't have been any penetration or intercourse. So it wouldn't have had to have been a rape kit but anything that like, I understand you're saying I took this plea so she wouldn't have to go through the physical degradation.
Hang on, Navin.
Yes, sir.
Navin, I need to go back to hands wandering around. Now, I'm just all I can do is picture the scene, picture his story. I don't know why he's walking into this room in the first place. I don't know that because he's in a stranger's house. But he's walking into a room.
Well, it's his buddy's house,
and he sees something, and he sees hands somewhere. Now, it wouldn't surprise me that the Uncle Ernie, would immediately jump up in shock and try to pretend that something hadn't happened. So I don't know how he's seen this detail. He seems to have got a detail there, but I don't really understand how he's actually seen that detail. You with me?
Yeah,
Uncle Ernie's going to jump up, surely, as soon as someone walks in on them,
Yeah, it's almost like he's projecting, huh? Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Yeah, how would he have known all that? Yeah.
Going through everything that is associated.
And now Josh is going to talk about his excuse for taking the plea. This is such a lame excuse that that Catch is going to say. Yeah, I didn't want to put the girl through.
Personally, I'm adamant, Navin, that no man pleads guilty to a sex offence this serious, or pleads nolo contendere to a sex offence this serious, if he hasn't done it.
Right? Yeah, and that's why I asked the question.
If you haven't done it, you're going to say you're innocent until the cows come home.
Right, because this is like the third.
Whatever your public defender says, whatever anyone says, you're innocent. You're not going to plead nolo contendere.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is like the third one of these that I've asked that one simple question. I've asked it to Independent Dash. I've asked it now to Catch through Josh. what crime out there? Like, yeah, speeding ticket. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't do it, but I guess I can't get out of it. I guess I'll plead no contest or whatever. Or yeah, I pay the fine. But I asked the question: what crime out there would you never admit to doing if you were innocent? And I asked him that question.
I don't know. I might hold out. I might hold out for a fish crime. I don't know. Nathan, you know.
Oh, now easy. Damn, yeah, that's harsh. Well, anyway,
Halfway up a mountain in Montana.
Are you trying to dox me now? You know,
No.
His answer was to the question, well, okay, what crime out there would you never ever admit to or plead no contest to, knowing you'd be, convicted if you didn't do it? And his answer was murder. And it's funny because Independent Dash said the same thing, as if, oh, I'll take a plea like I thought it's like a speeding ticket. Oh, diddling a little girl, molesting a little girl. Oh, yeah, no big deal. I'll take that. Yeah, not a big deal. It's total bullshit, and it catches them off guard. And I don't mind if this gets out there because it's still a hard question to answer for someone who says, "Oh, I just took it, mouse. Oh, I just took it because my dad was in bad shape medically and I needed $10,000. All this crazy shit." But they come up with this bullshit reasons, and all that does is two things. It totally makes them look like they don't think this is that serious of a crime. This is like a speeding ticket. Oh, okay. Nobody would, like you just said, nobody does that. We've heard it. And this is not a new concept, a new statement. Everybody in both sides of the community, all over the place, doesn't matter what your position is about First Amendment auditing other corrupt cops. They've
But at this point, I'll say,
I would never. I'll do 100 years in prison standing on my fucking head before I admit to that. Before I admit to that kind of shit, if I was innocent. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, she was 12 to 16, or that's how we're told by Josh or Portland Farmer. She was 12 to 16. So in the old adage of beware mouse, if it bleeds, it's old enough,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a disgusting position to take, but I know. Play the video.
With this case, but it's never been alleged that there was a rape. It was lewd and lascivious fondling. So there wouldn't, and that would have already happened. Like the moment she was taken in an ambulance to the hospital and seen by EMTs. So the moment that the police picked you up, that stuff already would have happened. So you wouldn't have been saving her from that. That would have already happened. So are you trying to, instead of the physical stuff, are you trying to save from having to go over it again to relive it?
This is information that I don't know things about, right? Did not know about that kind of stuff then.
See, the tough questions, and that was a good question by Josh. But the tough questions, he always says, "Oh, he pleads ignorance. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know about the law. I didn't know about the stuff. I didn't know about this. I didn't know. I was young and dumb and taken advantage of, and public pretenders sucked and all that shit." That's what they do. And he gets backed in the corner, or he'll claim memory loss, traumatic. What is it?
And of course,
injury. And then also he remembers details about. Yeah, go ahead.
We do need to remember that he was protecting her from taking the stand. Now, later we'll maybe question that when we see certain facts.
Right, yeah, no doubt about it.
You understand what
I can't remember what I said.
I didn't know what the procedures were for all this kind of stuff.
I'm just a good old country boy.
This was a whole new thing for me.
Oh my God.
And I got plunged in the deep end of it.
He's the victim.
I guess in my mind, I thought I was trying to help. Apparently not. I wasn't helping.
Well, the other thing
didn't help myself.
I would venture to say is that we can dismiss like you taking this plea so she wouldn't have to go through like any crazy physical tests for court, because those would have been done like when you got served your arrest notice. That stuff happened that very night. She went to a hospital, spoke to doctors, was debriefed by female and male police staff, and that stuff was already done. So I guess we can say, for all intents and purposes, you took the plea so that way she didn't have to relive the situation. You didn't want her to have to go through that, but she wouldn't have been going through that. You know what I mean? because
Yeah.
it wasn't you that did it to her. You right?
I wanted the less amount of damage to the child as possible, in my mind. And like I said, you know, I'm not up to speed on how those kind of things work. Still not real clear on it, but
So
I'm learning as you talk.
So, I mean, I was in '89. I was 2. I would have been your lawyer, but I was still shitting my pants, I assume. So let me just understand this. And guys, everyone, welcome. I just want to understand this correctly. You took a plea so the child didn't have to go through any damage. But when you walked in on the child being engaged by this adult, you left her there.
Both adults went in different directions. After we bumped heads, both of us went in different directions.
So at what point did the concern for the...
I went the other way.
Okay, so at what point from the beginning of this incident till you took the plea did the concern for the child come into play?
Probably when I was standing up in front of the judge or talking to the...
So your concern for this child did not come in... Your concern for the child did not become a factor until you were in front of the judge.
Okay, you guys look at it like this, right? The day I saw what was going on, I had no more contact with them. I was questioned by the cops for about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I don't know exactly. And then no contact with nothing. Get a phone call, tell me to come down to the police department, to the jailhouse and fingerprint. And that's when I got charged with it. And then didn't get to talk to nobody, no attorney or none of that kind of stuff until probably 30, 40 minutes before the damn stepping in front of a judge. In my mind, I hadn't done anything wrong, so I really wasn't worried about it. But it turns out that apparently that's not correct. So I'm thinking, and not knowing that all this other stuff that you're talking about occurs, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I can help.
So let me real quick. So until you heard me speak about,
so you can't give me more volume, can you? Because I'm struggling to hear. Catch you later.
Yeah, no, it's just low because he's on the phone with Josh. But I can certainly turn Josh up. Josh will be really loud, but that's
all right. It's him I need to hear.
We're all used to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've turned Josh up.
And can I just say, well,
at home, I'm not a lawyer.
What's that?
I was going to say, Josh. I mean, I described him as a lovable rogue. Because he's very much a rogue, but he does sometimes have he didn't do a bad job in terms of teasing things out of Catch You Later. In this job. The only thing is, obviously, that Auditor Bent or Frauditor Bent or whatever they are, that all cops are bad and everyone's been set up for the crimes that they did. Well, we all know that's not true, and there are lots of crimes committed. So, yeah.
Right. No,
right.
Josh
Back
did
to the video.
a whole lot better than Porter Farmer did. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I'm speaking in generality. My understanding of the law is pretty well grasped in my home state, but every state has its own constitution and different laws. So I'm not speaking as a lawyer, but until you just heard my interpretation of the law today, you had no idea or understanding of it prior to when I just explained it to you.
Oh Lord, what is this,
that's
Josh?
pretty much the way it is.
So what the hell are you doing auditing? You've been auditing for almost 2 years and you didn't understand the law until I just told it to you now?
I'm going to jump forward to 1 minute.
And while Navin jumps forward, you know, the stupidity.
And then
this thought that we're meant to agree with, you know, that he met his public defender 40 minutes before going up on this serious charge. You know, he's not on a speeding ticket. He isn't on a speeding ticket. When we actually look at what he could have faced, you know that that's not true. You know that he had his rights fully explained to him, and the judge would have checked that they were fully explained to him, even back in 1989. Are you there, Nathan?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna move this forward. We're gonna
Yeah.
skip this little segment here.
Yeah, play it.
To
Yeah.
122. We only had a few minutes.
While
to
you're
get
still
this going.
finding, I'd say thank you to both yours and my watchers. Some are watching on my channel. I tried to get them over here to join in the fun over here. I know we're not. I can't see chat, so I can't interact with chat at all. So I do apologise for that.
Okay. Well, next time what I'll do is below our names, I'll put the chat up. I could have done that. I should have done that. But anyway, here we go.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
Oh, look at that. There's me. Wait, what do I ask here? God, I hope it's a good question. Consider this.
saying. So I get the
Okay, what I guess I commented in Josh's chat. I'm saying consider this. Okay, so Catch You Later is saying some other guy did it. By accepting the rap, the Nolo, he effectively let a predator off the hook. How is that looking out for the best interests of a victim? Yeah, no shit, huh? There's a
Good-
who else
good
made
point.
the same deal? Somebody else did the same thing. Oh, fucking Earl made the same deal. He said, "Oh, there's a predator out there in a van who tried to kidnap my child and molest her." He said, "Hey, little girl, come here, get in the van." But what did Earl do? He didn't call anybody. Didn't call the police. Didn't notify anybody. He said, "No, I'll deal with it, man on man." I mean, that's not how you handle things. You know, if there's a guy out there, another reason for not taking the rap, nothing else. Like I would do some shit like that, but if there's a guy out there who did it, that's the son of a bitch that needs to be caught and looked at. Why let him off the hook? Well, I guess he's just being a nice guy.
you're saying you didn't
Bye.
understand it then.
Yes. Then I didn't have a clue what it meant. I thought, you tell the judge you didn't do it, and the judge has these other people saying you did do it, and the judge makes the decision because, I told the judge, I guess the same thing I told you. I don't know. I don't
So
remember.
what do you think was more important? What do you think was more? What do you think was a bigger win? Not putting this child through it, or taking a predator off the street. For all intents and purposes, by saying you did it when you didn't do it, you allowed another predator to be free, right?
Have to back you up again, bro. Never said I did it. Never. In my mind, I didn't do it. I know I didn't do it, and I never said I did it. And
So, well, that's what I mean. That's why we got to figure this out. Then the court records are wrong
I don't know because some of them are wrong.
because a no contest is a guilty conviction.
Absolutely.
It is 100%. So your record reads as, like, for example, if you did a diversion or deferment, it would not read as guilty. It would read as deferred. A no contest shows up on your record at this moment, right now, today, as guilty.
Okay, I understand that now. I do get it. But at the time, all I was doing was what the lawyer told me to do, not knowing any better.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so he did what the lawyer told him to do. Probably didn't tell him, advised him. And I think the advice was probably something like, "Hey, man, shit, this don't look good for you, pal. Yeah, it could get really ugly if this went to trial. How about I advise you? How about no contest?" But he didn't tell him. He advised him. Said, "Look, I've looked at the evidence. I've looked at the statements. My advice to you is, you might want to plead no contest to this, and let's see if we can't work out a good deal. What do you think?"
And when we look at the paperwork, I think we'll find out that's probably the advice that even a non-lawyer would have given him.
Yeah, I think so. And to give you guys a heads up, we are only about 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from that. So let's jump to we've covered that. Hell, we might be closer than we think here. Let's do one more segment, and I think we pretty much understand his position here.
And we need to say, "What's up, Playboy?" And please like and subscribe, and take your finger and put it on that thumbs up.
There's no Playboy here. Let's see what she has. She has some pretty good comments.
You did.
15-year-old or 12-year-old or something like that. I don't believe that girl was that old.
Oh, that's right. That's what he kept saying.
You don't believe she was? You believe she's younger?
This is very, very interesting right here.
Yeah, I think she was a lot younger than that.
Well, the police did their investigation and charged her accordingly to their belief that she was between the age of 12 and 16 years old. I don't think her being younger makes any difference. But listen, man, I think that there's still yet time to figure things out. Listen, I will be one to retract my statement if this girl, when we get these police reports and she says that it was the other guy that did it, I will absolutely retract. Karina, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Karina. Do you have a question for Catch You Later?
Okay. Hi, Frog.
Hi, where are we
I
at?
think we pretty much understand that
Okay,
his position. So
we've set the
automatically it
foundation. We've
wasn't
set the
me.
foundation.
Yep, set the foundation. So let's see.
So are we going to see some documents now?
Do you have a printout of the documents? Because on the screen it might be tough to read. Do you have a printout?
Well, if you want me to read it out, I can switch to a screen and read
Well,
it from there. So
yeah,
yes.
So let's see what happens here. Let's see if you can pull it up here. Give me a second while all this happens here.
Now, if you're at all perturbed by, well, I say adult material, but details, you should probably silence or
Well, let's
go and
see
make a
now.
cup of tea. But if you want to know the details, and I'll tell you, there are some details. Hang around for Navin to bring it up on the screen.
I've lost my documents. There we go. Can you see it now? Let me
Hang on.
Frog, let me help you out.
Yeah, I do see that, but you
like that?
don't need to zoom in. Yeah, what we have is we have at the top his name, etc., and then we've got Luden, Levigius, the Civis acts. But I will read what is down the bottom there.
Okay.
But I've just got to pull up my one, so because I can't read it on the screen that Navin's got. So
Yeah, it's a little tough for me to read too on this screen, but you got to.
here we go. No, I'm all right now. Okay. Here we go. On the 18th of October, 1989, Blank, mother to the victim, Blank, contacted the Levi County Sheriff's Department in regards to the sexual abuse of her daughter. Subsequent investigation revealed that the victim, Blank, was familiar with the suspect due to the fact that he is a family friend. In talking to Blank, it was learned that Jerry Hoffman had put his hand inside the girl's pants and had rubbed the vagina, not penetrating. With this information, I went to Jerry Hoffman to talk with him about the allegation. After being Mirandized, Hoffman told me that he had in fact rubbed Blank's vagina with his hand inside her panties while he thought she slept. Hoffman told me he was going to get counseling for the help he needed. Right, so that is the first report. I don't know if we want to. I read it at a speed which hopefully you got everything out of that. Can you see chat, Navin? Because I don't know what chat is saying after hearing that. If we remember back to his statements about where hands were, they match the report. Are you there, Navin?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching the chat. Yeah, can you hear me? That is incredibly hard to I mean, it's hard to disassociate myself from what what it's saying there. But the key thing is, after being Mirandized, Hoffman told me, okay, yeah, you know the rest. Where's the plea of innocence? Where's the I didn't do it? No, Hoffman maintained his innocence, and none of that. Now, I swear to God, if this comes out, if the answer to this is police lie, and where the incomplete report or falsified report, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Okay, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Now,
At some point,
so
what's written there has to be written. He had every opportunity to contest this because this is what was the November? I'm sorry, September 5th.
October, and the offence,
October,
I don't know if
yeah.
it's on here.
There's October 15th.
I don't know if it's on here, but the offence is alleged to have occurred sometime between the end of August and September. I think we'll come to that in the second document. So
Yeah.
we're basically over a month after when the offence occurred. So
Yeah, I'd like to ask everybody.
the
to keep in
offence was
mind-
the offence was reported to the cops by the mother over a month after the offence occurred.
Correct. And I'm going to ask everybody to keep in mind the timeline because that is important. August was the offense,
And-
and then the 15th was a report, and then watch how things these other documents come into play. And the dates are very important. And
Yeah, and I think there's some other things to take from this. I mean, the mother said he was a family friend, so the mother's lying about that. You know, she lied about that.
yeah, he said he'd only been over there 3 times or whatever kind of thing. He was a family.
Yeah.
Friend. He was a trusted person in that family's life, and he betrayed their trust.
I see you put a watermark on this document. I love
There's a
it.
watermark. Well,
Yeah.
I give it credit.
All
Who
right.
paid for
Okay.
it. I didn't
Have we
pay
got
for
to
it,
do this
so-
one? Sorry, because this is even worse. I warn you.
Are we on the same
Hang
page?
on, I've
here?
just got.
Page
Yeah, I've
3?
just got to find my document. We've got the state of Florida versus Jerry Hoffman at the top. In the name. Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. I'm on the same document, so I'll read it again.
All right.
All right. Leonard B. Register III, a state attorney for the 8th Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida, prosecuting for the said state, under oath, information makes that Jerry L. Hoffman, between August 17, 1989 and September 5, 1989, in the county of Levy and state of Florida, did unlawfully handle, fondle, or make an assault upon blank, a child under the age of 16 years, to wit, 5 years of age. I'm just going to pause there. 5 years of age. So, well, I'll complete reading it and then we'll come back to that. And her date of birth is there, Valentine's Day, 1984. In a lewd, lascivious, or indecent manner, but without the intent to commit involuntary sexual battery. I'm not going to go into what he did because I've already told you. Contrary to Section 800.04 Florida statutes, in such cases made and provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Florida. So I think these two documents are probably the most interesting documents that we're going to show tonight, aren't they, Navin?
Well, yeah, it does explain why he kept saying it was a little girl, not 12 to 16, like when Porter Farmer says. Well, it says 12 to 16, and he kept saying, well, it was a little girl. He knew. He fucking knew. He knew it was a little girl.
And
a little 5-year-old.
And it's quite hard. I was going to say it's quite hard to verify exactly what the penalty would have been for that charge in 1989, because the Florida statutes that you can look up online only go back to 97. Now, currently, that offence would be a life felony in Florida. We think that it was a second-degree felony at the time. So a serious felony was what he was charged with. And that is because of the age of the victim.
And that was explained to him. It was a potential life sentence. And that was explained to him. He acts like, oh, They didn't say anything about it. Didn't think that was a big deal. I figured they'd fingerprint me, let me go, and all this stuff. They questioned me. I just get more upset. But anyway, yeah. So this is going to make sense in a little bit here, I think. And I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's starting to make sense of the writing on the wall is if you're going back and putting yourself in his position, being presented with this information, this, why this no contest came about.
And I did say earlier on when, because obviously we thought we were dealing with a 12 to 16-year-old until we got these documents.
Yeah, I could be. Yeah, he did plead no low to 12 to 16. I think we have here is a classic
well, I
case
think we'll find the reason why he did that. We'll find, won't we?
Yeah, keep going.
But I was going to say, now 5 years of age. I don't think in 1989, as I don't think today, they will put a 5-year-old victim on the stand. They may. I don't know if they did at the time, but they may record such persons' evidence in a very nice and secure way. But, I mean, sensibly, no 5-year-old is going to take the stand in such a case.
No, they'll probably get her statement with the parents there.
I think it's probably quite a difficult case for a prosecutor because but for his admission under the Mirandas after he'd been Mirandized, when he admitted to it. So if he'd have done the sensible thing and kept his fucking mouth shut, not that I prefer that he did talk, but the advice is you don't talk once you're Mirandized until a lawyer turns up, be it a lawyer you're paying for or a public defender. But he did talk, and he admitted to it. Now, with that admission, the state attorney probably had a half decent case, but it's still quite hard these types of cases to prove. You know, you only need one not guilty on the jury, don't you? And it's gone. So
they laid it on his ass. Dude, that little when he came down and said he just come down for some questions, they laid it on his ass. They let him know this is the deal. This is what we got, and your ass is fucking. This. They laid it on him. He knew exactly what time it was. He knew what time it was, and he knew what they had, and he knew all that shit. And he was like, "I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I don't even need a lawyer."
And as you can,
yeah.
And as you can see in both these documents that we've read, there's no mention of another man, Uncle Ernie.
Where's Uncle Ernie? Yeah.
He's gone. No mention of Uncle Ernie.
Yeah. That's just like that Independent Dash. That's such a 2020 story. Like, I got to come up with something, or some after the fact story. Oh, crazy uncle, Usually the first explanation when someone's questioned and interviewed is probably the most accurate, not just in terms of accurate in terms of occurrences of events, but the story. You don't get to make up a story afterwards later on some crazy random uncle.
But also the dates. The 17th of August, between the 17th of August and the September the 5th. So that's when they were obviously able to place him at that location by some sort of evidence, but they're not sure. They're obviously not sure the actual day of the event. So this story about him going and phoning the police. Well, in 1989, the police kept records of incoming calls, so they'd have had a record of his call. His story about the police going down to question his uncle. And no, I'm sorry, it just doesn't fit. Doesn't fit at all.
No phone call.
I wonder if he came up with this story fairly early on. He's spoken about his family. He's spoken about his wife. He's obviously had to tell her a story. Obviously, she wouldn't know what he said in the interview room. She probably hasn't looked up the documents that you've seen tonight, because why would you? Your husband comes home and he says, well, yeah, I've got this problem. I'm being accused of this and I didn't do it. And this is the story. And so I think he's been used to telling a story since the point that the cops took him in.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he had to come up with a story.
Yeah.
He was forced to come up with a story. Because, let's face it, what wife would stay with a man that had done such a crime.
That's funny because he said, "No way I could have done it. My wife would have killed me." Which, like you said, she
Yeah.
probably didn't know. And like, he told her.
I mean,
She probably still doesn't know.
I hope that I hope that she's watching this stream. I mean, he made this come out. Only he made this come out because if he hadn't have gone up on those panels and had just disappeared under a rock, we wouldn't know. All we'd know is that the auditing community had another wrong un in there, and they hadn't done anything about it. They hadn't found out about it.
I don't know if Porter Farmer was going to put it out. He was on the case. PDF was on the case. No big deal.
Oh, what, he was going to put it out, was he? When was he going to put it out?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
What do we got?
he is Catch You Later is in with that Florida group, and all of the Florida group are tainted by this. Even the James Madisons and the Rogue Nations, they are all tainted by this because they all sort of are linked together. Now, I don't know if they've ever met this guy, but they've met him who's met him. And this is the problem. They do not vet one another. And they should.
Well,
They don't need to.
We'll be a little bit harsh. James did. I mean, right from Jump Street, as soon as this came out, even the charges came out and the conviction came out.
Oh, yeah. No, he did the right thing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. What I'm saying is what they do wrong is that they don't say, you know, maybe when the guy turns up on an audit once, you don't need to know his name. He's just turned up there. But when he starts becoming a regular, you ask him, well, what's your name? We just need to, you know, what's your criminal record? We just want to check you're not a nonce.
Well, it's weird.
You know,
they do what like what Jeff has said and other people. I ain't like y'all. I don't do background checks on people and stuff. I don't look. You know, I'm not. It's nothing nefarious. It's nothing sneaky about it. Go. You can go get a job. Apply for a job somewhere, very prestigious, or maybe it's a high security job. They're going to do it. Doesn't mean that they think. Doesn't make them. It's just they need to know who the hell they're employing, and I think auditors need to know who they're working with. I would, if I'm going to get out there in public.
Sorry,
it doesn't make me a creeper background checker. I mean, dig up some past on people. Just man, you got to be careful.
I do want to draw attention. Actually, I didn't read it out, but at the very top it says information for lewd or lascivious assault upon child under 16 years of age, most serious felony. So, as I say, we do not know what the penalty was in 1989. Now, it's possibly, if either of us were a lawyer and had access to the books, we'd be able to just get that book out of the library off a dusty shelf and look it up. But we can't find that on the internet. We have looked, but at the very least, he was probably looking at a level 2 felony. But by the sounds of that, he was possibly looking at a more serious felony.
And they certainly told him.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the chat? Have we done enough on this page, or?
Yeah, we're going on to the next page. I'm going to help you out with the next bit here. Right there in the bottom, that pronunciation for your that's Judge Beauchamp. That's Beauchamp.
Well, what did I call her or him?
No, not yet. I haven't heard you call him anything yet. Just to let you know, that's Beauchamp.
Yeah. It's a Frenchie.
Yeah,
it's a Frenchie.
Yeah, well, it could be, Cajun. But anyway, there you go. Mr. Beauchamp.
Well,
all right.
Cajuns are Frenchies.
They are. Don't tell them that. They don't like that shit. But
They're frogs. They're frogs.
Yeah, definitely don't call them Creoles. But all right, let's see.
Go on, you read this one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom here. This is signed by Mr. Catch You Later himself. Let's see what he has to say. And dates are important, so let's look at the date of this. Was Frog, what was the date on this?
90. It's 91, I think. But
yeah, 91.
I can get up my.
It's late. It's after the New Year's. We're into 91 now, and
yeah.
So take it away.
You want me to read this?
Yes, sir.
You want me to read this? Okay, right. Hang on. Let me get my. You keep them amused.
It's not.
Well, no, I'm happy to continue reading, but yeah, I've got it now. Judge Beauchamp.
No,
I live closer to the place. My name is Jerry Hoffman, and I have a request of the state of Florida. I am on community control. and I have been offered a unique job opportunity that could be a very good electrical career in relay and control systems. The company wishes to start me off at $8 an hour. The job involves travel all over Florida, sometimes necessitating staying overnight. Being on community control, I cannot do this. I have there should be a bean in there. I have been meeting and exceeding all the requirements of my community control without any instances whatsoever. I have requested of my community control officer, Patsy Mozo, to put in for early termination, but it is not standard procedure for the DOC to terminate community controlees early. Mrs. Mozo suggested I approach Mr. Clark, who is the head of the department. Mr. Clark explained the same and suggested I contact you, Judge Beauchamp. I made certain that my control officer, Mrs. Mozo, and her boss, Mr. Clark, were in agreement that it was acceptable to approach the higher authorities with my request. Sir, I respectfully request that the state of Florida terminate my community control early for the above stated reasons. All pertinent information can be obtained through Mrs. Mozo or Mr. Clark at the Parole and Probation Office. Thank you for your time. Now, we've obviously gone on here because we've gone on to letters that he's written post-conviction, and I think we should just step back a little, Navin, to go through why he took the NOLO. I mean, I have explained the first bit about the seriousness of the charge that he was charged with, but he obviously, there was some sort of plea deal done that he pleaded to this lesser charge of 12 to 16, which had a lesser sentence. So he got the 6 months in jail, which he said he didn't do, but we know he did, plus the community control, plus the probation. However, we're looking at this. So he's pled to a lesser offence. So he's got away with it there a bit. He's then, in this letter, do you see any sort of contrition as to what he's done or what he pled NOLO to?
Nothing. Just looking out for himself. Look at how he can better worry about himself. You know, how can I get myself? I'm not even so sure at this point that he even had a job that required that. I think he was using this as an excuse to get himself off of community control. I don't believe a thing this guy says. I think he's been a liar his entire life. But anyway, but you're right. There is nothing about, because he did say he was early on. He said he was going to get help. I have a problem, man. Fucking all that shit. Now he's like, you know, no remorse, no regret. Didn't even do the man thing, which is, man, I got off pretty easy. Fuck, I got 6 months. I got off easy.
I've never been convicted of poaching fish. But let's say I had.
I wasn't poaching fish.
And I was writing to the judge to try and get my sentence, commuted or something. I'd be saying, God, I feel sorry for the fish that I poached. And you can take poached in two ways, can't you? I poached them and then I poached them. Sorry. Is that English humor?
I could certainly say that I altered their lifestyle, and it really does bother me because they don't have a great life as it is being fish, and then I've altered it in a negative fashion.
But there is, but the point we're making is there is no contrition in this letter.
Zero. And
we now know, here we are now, we know the girl was 5 years of age. I mean, it's disgusting. I imagine no one in the chat doesn't think this is disgusting. It's a horrible subject.
Are these documents out of order? The pages out of order? Did the first part say where he basically, they were to go over that part where he said he needed help? Just get counseling and all that stuff.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, we've done that. That was in
that doesn't mesh with this right here.
Because we did that right at the start, if you remember.
Yeah, right.
That was right at the start. He's in the police interview and he's getting counselling.
That was a long time ago.
Because he doesn't actually realise that what he's done is serious. He thinks it's all right to put his hand where he put it.
And it's
on a 5-year-old child.
So insignificant that he need not even serve out a probation or community control, and then he wants to get off of that early, and then,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, and not even.
We're gonna
he
we're
was
gonna
so
try the next
fortunate.
one.
Yeah, he was so fortunate to even get the deal he got. Can you imagine 6
Yeah.
months? Where are we at here? Okay, here we go.
Are you on the handwritten one now?
No, this is.
No?
Oh wait, yeah, this is a attached as a letter that our office received
Yeah.
from Jerry Huffin. Okay, so let's read that.
Yeah, there's nothing really
Letter, Mr.
interesting.
Huffin is requesting.
the court
He's requesting a modification of his what we just read earlier. He wants a modification of his period of supervision because he's got this great job. It's gonna, bullshit, whatever, little bullshit story. Because Mr. Houghton is underrepresented. Oh, poor guy. I would ask the court to schedule a hearing on this matter at its earliest convenience. I am forwarding a copy of this memo to Patsy Mezzo. That's his supervisor, right? His
Yeah.
Mr. Hoffman's
Yeah.
supervisor, and am requesting her to inform Mr. Hoffman of this request. And then there we go.
Yeah. No, I was only when I requested the documents, I was only interested in really the letters and the request. It doesn't really matter whether or not the court ceded that request from my point of view. My point of view was finding out what the charging
not a
document
horror.
was.
This is out
Sorry?
of sequence. I think this is out of sequence. I think you want this part.
Is it?
Yeah, because this comes after. So we got to go back up after this. I think so.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
I
Right.
can't read that for sure.
Have I got to try this one?
Yeah, let's see if you can try.
Sirs.
My name is okay.
My name is Jerry Hoffman, and then it's a bit illegible. I have received from my probation officer. I've seen permission, I think, from my probation officer, Mr. Chauncey, to contact the court in regards to early termination of probation. In the past, I was successful in achieving my goal of early termination of community control. After that goal was achieved, I set the goal of early termination of my probation.
Oh, okay.
I've completed.
Frog, I got it. Okay, so this did come. This is in sequence. So he did get. Yeah,
He got his community. Yeah.
Probation was converted
been
to
quite a luck-
administrative probation. He went from community control to
Yeah.
administrative probation, so he can do some fancy job. All right, my bad. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. All right, got it, Frog.
Yeah, and so he's having quite an easy life with the court, really.
Yeah, he's making.
I've completed half of my probation period. I have not ever been violated. Well, you did a bit later, but there we go. I have paid restitution fines completely. I respectfully request early, and I imagine that's termination of probation or something like that, but it's early termination of his probation. I something the court. I asked the court or something for no. I thank the court. It is thank. I can read it now. I thank the court for looking into. I don't know, a help or something, and for their help into looking into this and their help, something like this, like that. I apologise. I can't make them any better. The clerk of the court told me that she had one document that wasn't very legible, but I said I'd have it. I knew it was the document that he'd signed. We actually get to see his handwriting now, he signed it. That does look like, I mean, to me, that looks like the person who signed it, written it. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Now, we don't know his education. He has spoken about high school. Both letters that we see. Now, we had no evidence in that first letter that he actually was the author of it. It could have been his wife because it was typed. It could have been his probation officer, although there was some grammar stuff in there. But this letter, yeah, there's the odd spelling mistake, but, there's nothing that says, God, this guy has, was a short bus rider. He's got some intelligence. He's using long words. He's not stupid. But once again, we have another letter.
You don't use words
requesting-
like irrespectfully, or even though it's irrespective.
Yeah.
Irrespectively.
restitution, and there's some more than 3-syllable words there.
The main thing that take
Anyway,
from
once
this is
again,
that
there is no.
he's getting such a pass
There's no-
all through this whole process. He's getting such a pass. He got a NOLO down to a much lesser charge of 12 to 16, and he got a slap on the wrist 6 months, and then and I think he only did 2, and then now and so he's got this paper now. He didn't like that. Oh, that's such a burden to me, and this administrative control. Hey, how about this? Oh, I got a job. Can we get rid of that administrative control? They grant that to him. Okay, here you go. Now you're under administrative control. He's trying to get rid of that too. This guy, he's a piece of work. I mean, taking
Once
no
again, in this
responsibility,
request, there's no
responsibility.
contrition.
None.
No, I've managed to deal with. I've taken classes in, sexual offending on minors or something like that. There's none of that.
And look at here, leading right into it. And this is stuff that I read just right before it went live, so it doesn't really absorb it all, but it goes right to what we're saying here. So what happens? He gets his administrative control. Things going great. This now, what year are we on here? What year is this now?
Oh well, then after he put in this letter, but he's still on probation, so they haven't stopped his probation. He actually violates his probation. Now it's to be fair, it's a minor violation. It was the non-payment of a small amount of money, I think under $100. I don't know if that blows
We're
up
gonna get
on there,
into
but
it.
it's
I don't think it's minuscule at all. It goes to show the character of this guy. After all that,
Yeah. What I'm saying
he
is-
gets what he wants, and he walks away from it. He don't even pay the little minuscule little $100 deal. He's just like he's gonna walk away, and they say, no remorse, no, and now he's like no obligation. I got what I want. I'm walking away from my $100.
But it did give us a good document, which I think is the next document.
Right on. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Because there is a certain paragraph, and I want to zero in on a paragraph
I don't know
here,
if I can read it.
which
It's
is
so fuzzy.
the third is number 3, and it talks about his case and tells us that what he pled no contest to lewd and lascivious. I don't know why I struggle with that word.
Lascivious.
Yeah, I'm obviously not educated. The file reflects that he was initially sentenced to the Levi County Jail for 6 months with credit for time served. So
Slap on the wrist.
he did serve 6 months. He was given credit for the days he served, and it was to be followed by 2 years community control. It wasn't suspend. You now at the end of this court procedure are on community control.
Yeah.
It was followed by. So he got 6 months. He obviously had to serve. He was given any days that he'd served up to then, and then to be followed by 5 years probation. Now he tells us he didn't do any time. Well, that's blown that out the water, hasn't it? This was the advantage of that violation form, because it gave us a sort of summary of the case. I don't think there's really anything else in there, unless you want to go into anything else in this document. I mean, it obviously mentions the sums that he had to pay. As you can see, as they are, where I say not significant, I mean, in dollar amounts, they're not huge amounts. I suppose back in 1989, your dollar was worth more, so
Well, it goes
the
to
larger
show.
than the dollar today. But
It goes to show, if it were, let's say, 500,000, you could say, well, he's probably not paying it because he didn't have 500,000. We're talking about $100. He doesn't even think he's obligated for what he's done to definitely not serve jail time, and definitely not be on some kind of overburdensome community control. That sucks. And then administrative. No, I don't even like administrative control. Get me off of that too. The $100, I don't want to even fuck that. It shows his complete. I don't want to. It's arrogance and minimization of what he's done, and his willingness to accept responsibility. To even say, look, $100. Yes, I think it's worse. I think it's worse that he wouldn't pay. I don't think he would have paid $5 because once he gets what he wants, he walks away, and that's what's happening. And they realize that they're like, "Shit, we should have never let this guy. We give this guy 3 breaks. We should have never given him 1 break." You know, just gets what he wants and moves on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the next document is. Can't be any worse than.
Have you got another document?
I don't know.
Have you got another document?
What's this? This is an affidavit of. Oh, it's an affidavit. God, I wish I could read that. Affidavit violation of Then he violates his administrative. Oh, that's because of the money. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just affirming that he had violated. So you had the
He played the
you
system
had the
like a
report
motherfucker, didn't he?
of the violation, and then he violated. But
Acting like he got
I
a
mean,
bad rap. He played the system like a fiddle, and he acted like he got a bad rap. Like, I'm such a victim. They This all the way to 96. Then he thought he was done. Thought his hands were clean. Well, look. Wow, let's take some. What do you say we take some questions?
yeah. I'm gonna open up Navin hopefully and be able to see the chat now. So.
Here's a pop out thing. All right, we're gonna take questions.
You might have to read them out for me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. I gotta get mine over here too. I gotta mod some people real quick. Otherwise, otherwise you get banned.
And if you're in my live chat, you're in the wrong place to ask questions. You need to come over to Navin's live. You need to come over to Navin's stream to ask a question. I've linked the stream in my description as well as pinned it to the top of the live chat, so you should be able to find your way here quite easily.
Yeah, we'll take questions or good comments. He should still be in jail. That's a good comment. I agree with that one. Yeah, no doubt about it. God, there's not a lot of questions. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean it. Well, it's. We had to do it. We had to do it because the guy's an idiot. Basically, he comes out of jail and he tells a story that he didn't do it. And he tells this story, and you've got questions of the story, and the way he told the story raised those questions, and then you think, well, are those documents going to be available, and
So
are we
don't
going to be
think
able to get
There's
them?
lots of channels
And
who, as you
This
said,
limey from across the pond
American Amy
got
said
hold of
actually
those
they take
documents.
lots
So
of
you're not
footage
telling me
from
that
auditors.
it's difficult
They
for
play a
anyone
lot of it. They
in the
do long
US
videos on
to
it,
get hold of
and
these
they
documents.
interject with little
Well, there's
things.
lots
That's never been my way. I've never wanted
That
to
was me
make
coming back at me.
entertainment of this.
That was
I've
that
always
was
wanted to,
that was. I think that was some
try
guy
and
called
help people stay out of
Futoy or
jail,
something, some Irish
but also
idiot.
try and help
was
people
Frog
stand
Stone
up
goes
for their
on-
rights. And that's me.
It goes
That's
on
why I'm agreeing
PDF
so
and
much
just
with
tries
Port
to
Dirt Farmer.
talk over you,
We
and
come from
you won't
different
let you
sides
finish
of
a
the street,
sentence.
but we can
You
agree
know, he's
on
one
quite
of
a
these
lot, I think.
people that.
And your man's
You see,
come
I
back, so,
see the world in tones
I don't
of
know if he
grey.
got signal or
Not
not,
black and
bro.
white.
anyway, Port
But
Dirt Farmer,
there's
but
too
thanks for
many-
having me up.
I don't know.
You got signal,
They could
catch
be
you
on both
later or
sides
not?
of the community, but I'm going to attack the auditing community. There are too
Your
many
mic's on.
people in that community who believe
talk.
that police
Catch
do
you later.
no
Can you
good
talk?
and all they do is wrong.
I don't know. Gio,
And
can
that
you
is
go
just
live,
plainly
Gio?
not so.
Will your phone work?
Plainly not so.
Or where they're at? They're coming out of South Florida, so they're probably in an area where there ain't a whole lot of signals. They're heading north on 75.
His uncle did it. Well, we got to say,
But
reiterate.
Either way,
Anybody who says that to, ask him why did
ain't
you
got no
say that
signal,
from the
you can't
get-go?
talk.
Why is it not in the police report? And if he says the police don't
Anyway,
act, just
thanks,
put
PDF,
him
and
aside.
I won't troll.
the
I
next
will
thing
never
he's gonna
troll your
say is,
chat,
oh,
and your mods don't need
that
to
was
be.
then. I
you
was
know.
ignorant and all
Well,
that
what
stuff.
you just said
Bullshit.
made sense, but I
They knew
hope
what was
I hope
happening.
it's
They
real.
told you. They
I've been
read out the
disappointed
crime.
a
They
lot by
process things.
fucking trolls and people just hating on people,
Attorney basically said,
character
I recommend
assassinating
no
people
contest.
without
This shit ain't
reason
good for
to.
you.
So
I
you
really
have to
want to work
understand
out
where I'm
the best
coming
deal for
from
you.
to be
And he went for no judge, and the
to not
judge said,
believe you
look,
just
no
because
delays,
you're
gonna be
saying
found
these
guilty
things.
right
You
now,
know,
you guys.
I haven't
So
seen you around.
don't
I haven't
let
even
this
seen
guy
you on the
off
English
the hook.
scene.
He's gonna do whatever it takes. He may
First
not.
time
He
I've
was
seen
mad.
the frog.
I don't do the English scene. I don't don't really do
Well-
media stream. It doesn't interest me.
Yeah, you've got.
But I'm all over the place.
But no one's
Yeah.
really
You
association
know?
with them, is there? Is
Yeah,
it? I mean,
Gio's
that's
out for
in
a
some
while.
ways that's
Actually, one
success
person
that
who I did have
you've
quite some
removed his
conversation with,
associations
and
from him, and
again,
again,
quite
that's
different, but I could
hopefully.
have good conversations.
I mean,
with
we
Joe
don't know
Public.
about
I don't know if you
Dr.
know him.
Sean Berry.
Yeah. I
He
know.
could- I mean, I
I've
felt
called
I
out.
was.
I mean, I will put a
forced-
video
I
up
think he was done
after
a
this live
really
stream
bad deed
with the
in
documents on
terms
them,
of
and I'm calling out
what
within
the
my
cops done to
description,
him, and he
Dr.
knows
Sean
that.
Berry,
And so, and
XXGOX,
you know,
and
he and I
also
conversed,
Chuck
and
Bronson, who
he
collected
knows
the PayPal
he knows me.
donations for him.
Joe Public knows me.
And I think all three.
Well, listen,
well,
if
two
you're
of them,
really just
Dr.
out
Sean
there
Berry
looking
and
for the
XXGO,
badness, right?
owe the rest
And I'm
of their
surprised when you said
community
nonsense.
a
I'm
huge
surprised
apology
the
for
American
associating
people
with
knew what that meant.
what was
Actually,
then
it's a very
known
English term,
nonce,
right?
because they then
So,
knew it.
but
they still
if what you're
continued
saying
to
now, if
support
that's
him,
who you are, well then
which
you
others
know.
didn't.
And the
That
other,
PDF sort of sat on the
and the other
fence a
thing
bit
is,
like
you have
Fat
to
Label
really
used
be,
to do.
when people do,
And
PDF, you know as well. I don't know if you know.
Let's
You
close
might
this
know
out, Frog. I think I'm playing a
that
different stream.
Right.
You're
Geo,
telling me, so I
Catch
need
You
to figure out where
Later,
this coming
Yin
from.
Yang, and I believe
Okay.
Dr. Sean.
Everybody.
We'll close it
were
out.
in that police
Thanks for
department
watching.
about a month ago.
Yep. Sorry about that.
And
Peace,
Yeah.
everybody. I don't know where it's
they
going
got
from.
chucked out of that police department, told
Right.
that they
I
couldn't
see it
film
now.
in
I
that
got
police
it now.
Yeah,
department.
I was down there too.
Do you wanna
I
kick
got
the
kicked
stream
out of there
up,
and
or are
trespassed
you
out of the
gonna-
whole damn
Let me
town.
find out where that's coming from.
All right, we'll catch you later. Geo.
Hey,
That's amazing.
Well, we better shut the stream. I don't know.
Is it still happening when I do that? Okay, that might be all right now. I think I've got it.
You all right?
I think so. I don't know, man. Yeah, I was thinking it was on the other scene, man. Well, you throw shit together, Les. Two panels. Two panels playing. I don't know, man. Well,
And I'd obviously like to thank all in PK who have helped with this story. Because we obviously, even before we put out the initial news that he was a sex offender, we verified that amongst ourselves, and that we were happy to put that out, that it was him,
Yeah.
because we had to consider whether or not it was his father in the first place, didn't we?
yeah, that's another thing, man. His
Because-
father.
be-
He mentioned his
Because
father.
he shares the same name, unfortunately, for his father. But his father's totally in it. You know, I'm not casting any aspersions on Mr. Hoffman's father.
Yeah,
Um,
none at all. None at all.
apart from
he actually mentioned something about his father, and his father, he in one of the streams, I guess it was Portrait Farmers or somebody's stream, and his father was an amazing person, and I do feel for his parents, and
Yeah.
definitely his father.
and we do.
God,
And we do hear that, you know, he had to use a public defender. Well, that's possibly because his father had disowned him at that point. We don't know, but I mean, I know if I got into trouble and
Well,
you know,
we didn't get one single question, Frog. That's amazing. I don't know if that's a good thing. Thanks, Carla. Thanks you, and all you guys helped me. Thanks for helping me fix my little fuck up deal. I don't know what happened. I said I was playing your stream or something like that. But anyway, we got through it, and
Well,
we threw this together at the last second.
hopefully we've put out the information. That's it, as far as I'm concerned. That's the end of Catch You Later. I mean, if he decides to crop up on the scene and others support him, I'll be the first to go in on them. I think I was ending when you had the problem. I was talking about Chuck Bronson and the PayPal donations. I hope that Chuck Bronson, who I believe has a 94,000 viewer subscriber base on his channel, I would hope that Chuck Bronson would do the right thing and return the money, even if he's paid it out on behalf of Catch You Later. But I would assume that he's making enough in ad revenue to actually refund those that paid donations towards this arsehole's. Now, knowing the frauditing community, he probably got far more than he needed and hoped to pocket the rest. But
yeah,
hey-ho.
refund.
That's what they do.
Chuck Bronson, I would definitely refund. And that's, that brings up another point. That's why it's important to get the information. That's why we do get the information out as soon as we know it, because people are donating and making decisions, financial decisions about these crazy. So and so got arrested. We got to raise money for him. We're like, hold on. We're trying to, we need to let people know, because certainly these auditors aren't going to let them know that they could potentially be donating to a sex offender. And I think these people need to be armed with the information. If they still want to donate now, okay, then I say, all right. But at least now you have the information you need to make an informed decision if you're going to help out somebody like that. And some people got took pretty quick, you know, and it wasn't their fault. It's not their
And
fault.
I mean, we know even criminals don't like nonsense, do they? Even hardened in the jails do not like nonsense. Nonsense are not liked.
Not by me.
And I don't think many people like nonsense. I mean, I wonder. I mean, you do wonder if someone, and maybe sometimes I hope that someone in his locality is now aware of his crime, and actually starts spreading rumors about, not rumors, they're facts. Starts spreading this information because he will have harmed himself, which I think is a good thing. Because who knows, he might still be a danger as a granddaddy towards someone's kiddie. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that bit's done. I just can't believe we don't have any questions. Everybody's saying, great work, Frog. You guys did great. Well, thank you so much. This is something that had to be done. Even though Porter Farmer and some other said they were on it, they were going to get it. They were going to get it out there, and we were, Johnny come lately. They think we're doing this for clout and for the clicks and views is total bullshit. We've been around a long time. Look at me. I mean, I will never monetize anything. I'll never pay. No PayPal's ever been out there, and I can't believe I have to even say that shit. This is purely about getting information out there about people and their ways. Especially when money has become, it's coming into play. Like they're starting a fundraiser for him. The guy wants to run off on his own or whatever, but when you're live on YouTube, and if you got a pass like this, you will never see us go after someone that had minor drug possession or even even shoplifting. I don't like thieves. I can't stand a thief. I fucking hate thieves. That's another story, but you're not going to see us go after those kind of people. It's mainly people that commit offenses like this, egregious offenses to vulnerable people like children and women. I don't like a woman beater either. You're out there too. If you're a woman beater and you're an auditor and you get arrested and you're a woman beater, guess what? You're in that. It's going to happen. Go ahead, Frog.
And let us remember that he was out with a PhD. Now, talking about that person, Dr. Sean Berry. I'm sorry, I keep on mentioning your name, Dr. Sean Berry, but I have grave doubts about your doctorship, and I'd love to see the documentation behind your doctorship. I'd love to know where it's come from, what institution it's awarded by. I mean, maybe you'll put that out for us so that we can see your PhD, because you've been caught as being a fool. Now, surely a PhD wouldn't be caught being a fool. And you look a fool, and you look like you just paid for those letters after your name to call yourself Dr. Sean Berry. So, Dr. Sean Berry, prove yourself now. Sorry about that rant.
No, that's fine. Maybe he's just using it like a little moniker, like Dr. J. Dr. J wasn't a doctor either. I don't think he was.
Yeah, but he also uses the PhD after it as well. He doesn't just use the doctor.
Oh, does he put the PhD behind it? Well, that's different.
I think I've seen the PhD on things as well. Yeah. I'm sure I've seen the PhD on his channel.
Like Dr. Seuss was a PhD. Actually was a PhD, but I don't. But Dr. J was definitely was.
It's definitely not a medical doctorship.
No.
But if you listen to him, it doesn't sound as though he's got the capability of writing the theses that would be required for a doctorship. But who am I to say? Maybe he's had some kind of injury that's affected him in later life. But I'd like to see it, Dr. Sean Berry.
His dissertation.
Yeah.
Dr. Hook.
Are we going to say no night? And thanks to our viewers for sticking with us.
I'm amazed there's so many people to say hi and bye to and thank you to, but Alex and I, of course, that goes without saying. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody else that's in here. Even Unblocked is modded somehow. That's pretty cool. I think you get a name like Unblocked in your modded. Yep. But everybody else.
God knows what's going on in my live chat. I haven't been there to block or unblock, but I don't block. I unblock. That's all I ever do.
Well, see if there's some questions in there, because I didn't get one. We didn't get one question. I don't know what that means.
Well, I told people to come over here to ask questions, and if they're not capable of doing that, then probably that question isn't worth listening to anyway. So.
Well, I think, can we just take it like, man, it was so thorough and complete that there are no questions? That's I'll take
Probably.
that.
I mean, we've been at it for 2 hours, so I reckon that's a good
Yeah.
time.
Wait.
The documents will be. There will be a short video on my channel. Just reading through those documents again, probably for people who didn't join us on these live streams, because it's not worth watching it really.
I just got called out. I just got called out by some guy named Bruce Gordon in the chat. Name maybe no PayPal. However, I do seem to remember an ice cream cone or ice cream funding event.
Oh,
I think somebody is punking me. We'll have to address that. Yeah, I might be. Maybe, see, just goes to show. Just goes to show.
Oh, I did my fake fundraiser for flights to go and see the late departed.
That's right. I remember that. And yeah, that got
Patrick
out of control,
Sneed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've still got. I was paying money to myself. It was quite interesting to get that PayPal going.
But didn't that get a little out of control? Did anybody actually donate to that?
Oh, PayPal eventually didn't like it. That I think I paid it was too much or something. I can't remember. It's too long ago now.
Right, yeah.
I was doing quite well on the PayPal pool with paying money from one purse to another purse. Just shows you how you can't even trust PayPal pools. You know,
you can't trust GoFundMe either. You can start up a bullshit GoFundMe.
You definitely can't.
Then people start donating to it, and I'm like, there's no go button. As soon as you hit submit your little bullshit I'm sorry, your story or whatever it is about what happened to you, whatever, and GoFundMe. The next thing you know, fucking people are donating all of a sudden. I'm like, what the fuck? I never hit submit or submit application or for verification. All of a sudden, money just starts coming in. You fucking had to pull the plug on that.
I think I've said it before that if you're going to donate, I'm sure you can find enough worthy causes close to you.
Swammy, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself, Swammy. I never got mad. Oh shit. These
you know, just because someone tells a story doesn't mean it's true.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially when the story changes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, are we going to say night, David?
All right. Take care, Frog. Thanks for all your help, man. And
cheers.
Take care.
Cheers. Thanks, David.
All right.
Thanks for hosting. Cheers. Bye-bye.
No problem. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny, Alex. Ha, ha, ha. Funny. All right, group. I think this will put this to rest. Hopefully, for the love of God, this is the last time we have to go through something like this, and this is it. There'll be no more. I'm not encouraged. It just seems to be, I don't know what number we're on now. This is an alarming number. And these aren't insignificant charges. This is, these are all, I consider major sex offenses, and a lot of them against children is in this auditing community, and hopefully that's the end of it. But we'll try to leave on that positive note and see what happens. Good night. Peace to everybody. Take care.